Moving on, our second session in this segment will cover drone tech AI for the next billion. The drone technology has taken center stage in foreseeing risks and mapping solutions, be it delivering medical aid, securing defense borders, and much, much more. AI is important in making these operations scalable, reliable, and secure. Our speaker for this session is Vipul Singh. He is co-founder and CEO of Arav Unmanned Systems, AUS, which is a drone solution startup leading commercial segment in India with its vertical integrated end-to-end solutions. Vipul has a background in aerospace engineering and has been very active with policy suggestions and industrial committees for the drone ecosystem in India. Pleasure to have you join us this morning, Vipul. Over to you.
Well, thank you, Justin. Here, I would like to bring in a couple of slides to share my thoughts that how drone tech and AI are going to create impact for the next billion. So before we delve into what role AI can play with the drone tech, it's important to understand what kind of use cases and impact are we really envisaging and experiencing in the current world. So this is a snippet from a report published by the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP. What it says is this, that drones are going to add value to wide variety of use cases. Let it be mapping of rural and urban areas for propelling the development, settling, let's say, property disputes, which is what is happening in the country right now, or even ensuring food security by intervening in the agricultural process, emergency health supplies in difficult to reach areas, or even making very tough, physically laborious jobs easier, bringing in more gender equality, or in fact, impacting the green energy initiatives by making the industry more efficient, making cities more sustainable, or even the construction which is happening all over the world when it comes to the development of infrastructure. Those construction activities can also be made more efficient and ESG compliant by the intervention of drone technology. And it can impact both the life on the land and below the water as well. So all in all, when we are talking about the various aspects, UNDP says that there are at least 17 sustainable development goals which can be achieved by the utilization of drone technology. So what it further means is, when we are talking about using drones for all such kind of applications, there is going to be a lot of dependency on the capability of the drone itself to operate in these different environments, geographies, weather conditions, and scenarios where there are going to be a lot of obstacles and dependency on the pilot to take correct decisions. So to be able to make the whole application more robust, autonomous, and also intelligent, it is required that eventually we achieve an autonomy where the drone is enabled enough to take decisions in different scenarios. Now, when we talk about the evolution of drone technology, when it started to what it is today, it started with level 0, where there was dependency on a lot of pilot skills to operate these machines. And then slowly it went to level 1, level 2, and currently it is at level 3 and level 4, where we are using a combination of multiple onboard sensors and algorithms for easier control and navigation of the drone, where either a pilot gives simple left, right, top, bottom inputs from the joystick, or presses a couple of buttons on the laptop for the drones to operate autonomously. But still, the understanding of the environment and the region in which the drone is operating is left on the pilot's decision, which is where the level 5 is slowly getting in. And over the next 3 years, we are expecting that drones will become capable enough that there will be almost zero input required from the pilot, other than someone taking the drone to the desired locations and switching it on. And when we reach that level of autonomy, drones will be, let's say, intelligent and powerful enough to be sense the situation and the environment around them and decide that how they should be operating in that environment to achieve the desired task or the mission. Now, when we want to achieve that, it's completely impossible to be there without utilization of artificial intelligence. A combination of multiple sensors, algorithms will work together in a very, very efficient manner using a very limited compute resource on board to decide that what is the environment and how the drone should operate to fulfill the expectation. Now, to make it easier to understand, there is an example which I would like to take for a use case where a particular drone is expected to inspect a blade of a wind turbine. Now, when the drone has to do it today, the pilot sees the wind turbine, flies the drone and tries to move it. But ultimately, what happens is he can't do it because he cannot be very close to it. The level of autonomy which is offered or available with the pilot is limited, and he can maneuver the drone in a very limited manner. Now, what we are expecting that with the amalgamation of right technologies like computer vision, machine learning, and in fact deep learning as well, at some point of time, the drone will be able to plan its motion around any object by sensing that what that object is and what is the desired outcome from that particular mission. So this is where the learning, perception, motion, reasoning, then planning, and then collecting data in the form of either general intelligence or overall intelligence would be required. So from planning the motion of the drone in a difficult environment or a complex environment, to also collecting relevant data and interpreting that data for relevant intelligence, is where we see that AI will play an important role in the entire drone technologies full stack solution. Now, let us also look at what are the use cases. I mean, maybe we are able to understand today that how the autonomy, AI will enable autonomy on the drone. But let's look at the impact side and what is available in a country like India to immediately cater to by utilization of artificial intelligence, either on drone or on the data collected by the drone. So when we talk about certain applications of drone, currently in our country, we are looking at using drones for mapping all the 660,000 villages for the sake of revising their land records, which is under the name of Swamitwa scheme. There is petabytes of data which is being collected, high resolution, 2 centimeter per pixel, 3 centimeter per pixel maps are being developed, and using these maps, various properties falling within the let's say rural areas are being digitized. The entire process from getting a map to digitizing these properties is manual right now. So there is again a huge scope for the utilization of artificial intelligence to automate this process in a very robust and reliable way. Similarly, we are talking about applications in agricultural domain where drones are operating for, let's say, applications like spraying of pesticides and assessing the crops. Now, when we talk about spraying of pesticides, so when we talk about applications in agriculture, we are looking at utilization of drones for, let's say, use cases of spraying pesticides over the crop, which is currently done manually. Also doing assessment of the crop from its health perspective, classification of the crops to identify which crop is being grown on a particular piece of land, what is the health of that crop, how much yield is expected from that particular farmland in a particular season. So there are various use cases where drones are again being used for boosting the agricultural economy, again operating in different terrains, different environment, where AI will play a huge role in either making drone more intelligent and its operation more robust, or allowing interpretation of this large volume of data in a much more accurate and quicker manner than what is being practiced today. Similarly, there are industries like mining, metal and power, where drones are being used for assessing the efficiency of the overall function of that business, helping them become more environment and safety compliant. Again, AI can play a big role, or is already playing a big role, in interpreting this data and helping people take better decisions by harnessing important intelligence from this data. Now, there are use cases like irrigation, watershed, shed, logistics, where drones are again being used to enable various activities of either, let's say, the distribution of water in a particular region for better irrigation and availability of water for every farm, or applications like logistics, where drones are being used to carry emergency health supplies in difficult to reach terrains where generally road transportation takes a lot of time. So if we try to imagine the kind of environment and the activities drones are involved in, planning the flight, taking the decision. In fact, when the drone is going from one point to the other point and it is supposed to land and deliver the package, it has to be intelligent enough to understand the locality of that area and take smarter decisions that where it should land, whether it should land or not if someone is standing below it and maybe in a vicinity which is dangerous, and what kind of terrain it is operating into, how the weather has changed, what to do in a particular weather type. There are certain small examples where again onboard compute and artificial intelligence put together on the drone will play an important role. So likewise, there are a lot of use cases which are emerging in the infrastructure domain: road, railways, power transmission corridors, In fact, disaster management using drones, where drones will have to assess, make the cities more resilient from the data, or they have to become first responders in terms of identifying people who are stuck in difficult to reach areas, or even supplying emergency goods, medicines, or food packets to areas where it is very difficult to reach in such disaster scenarios. So urban and town planning, where there will be layers and layers of data to be extracted from basic data collected from the drone, again using the artificial intelligence. So how is the leadership seeing drones as playing an important role in the sustainable development of societies in India as well as in the foreign nations? Both our leadership in India recognize that drone will be playing very important role in surveying and mapping of land records, delivery of various services to public, whereas UNDP very well recognizes that it will help the development of the developing nations and the city administrations to improve their public and private services and improve the overall sustainability of urban areas if it is implemented in the right manner. So this is where I feel that while it is important also to use AI for making drones smarter, it is also important that in the today's world, while we are trying to make them smarter, we can leverage AI for extracting more value from the data which the drones are collecting for various use cases. So, and that's where both can work together and increase the overall value creation which is happening in the ecosystem from both the technologies. So this is it from my side. Justin, over to you.
Thank you, Vipul, for that engaging presentation. Before we move on, I'd like to mention that due to heavy rains near our broadcasting studio in Mumbai, there have been inconsistencies in the streaming. I'm sure all of you have noticed it. Please do bear with us. We are working to make it seamless. And thank you once again for your understanding as we're looking into it as we speak.